Oh, wait a minute. I think I see two women right now. Two Asian women. And they looking better than my grandma's Oriana rugs. Hold on a second, y'all. Hey. What up, cutie? Hey, can I get your phone number? Nah, better yet, forget that. We living in modern times. Let me get your Instagram. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. What? Why I want your Instagram? Duh, cause I'm trying to get to know you. What up, guys? This is my Aquavius Holloman. I just got back to the States. I'm in Dallas, Texas right now, sitting in this parking garage in my car. We doing an experiment, seeing how many American women we can get. And oh, wait a minute. I think I see two women right now. Two Asian women. And they looking better than my grandma's Oriana rugs. Hold on a second, y'all. Hey. What up, cutie? Hey, can I get your phone number? Nah, better yet, forget that. We living in modern times. Let me get your Instagram. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. What? Why I want your Instagram? Duh, cause I'm trying to get to know you. Oh, wow, so y'all think that's funny? Y'all can't see my face? Why I'm hiding behind this seatbelt while I'm talking to you? Oh, see, guys, I'm socially awkward. Really, that's how y'all really feel? See, guys, that's the very reason why I tell you to get your passport. Passport bros are up, American women are down. See, look what they just did to me. They thought it was funny, asking me why I want their Instagram. See, if you go to Colombia, you will have a better time than what just happened to me. Yeah, you may get scoped, wake up with a sore anus and a missing passport in the bank account, but guess what? It's better than what they just did to me. If you go to Thailand and you fall in love with a bar girl and she take all your money out of your bank account, send you back to America with a broken heart, guess what? It's better than what an American woman would do to you. You feel me? I'm up here looking good, 360 waves on point, work out 6 days a week, eating chicken wings, and they just straight up walked like I wasn't even talking to them. I mean, I know I should have got out the car and approached them, but what the hell for? It's 2024. I'm a black man. What I look like approaching some women that I'm 2 times bigger than? They could have ran off or think I was trying to kidnap them. I mean, maybe they thought that once I was sitting in the car and they didn't see my face and I'm trying to call them over to the car. I mean, you know, common sense ain't common anymore, but I digress. Get your passport. What's going on, guys? This one and only Travel Time with Paul. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share this video. Before I get into the topic of the video, I would like to give a mini monologue. I did a live almost 2 weeks ago. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you go check that live out. My response to bacon, mayonnaise, tomatoes. Very epic live. I think you're going to love it. As a matter of fact, I know you're going to love it. So make sure you go check that out. And a lot of guys been requesting me to start uploading travel vlogs. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna bring my A game when it comes to the editing on those travel vlogs. But if they don't get the engagement and the views like these story times get, the story time videos get, I won't upload no more travel vlogs. That's one of the reasons I don't really upload travel vlogs that much or whatever, because I don't think they would get the same engagement as my story time videos get. Like they say, if it's not broke, then don't fix it. But I digress. Now we're gonna get into the topic of the video. The topic of this video is the reason my uncle left the States for Thailand. Now my uncle's one of them guys, he likes his cake and eat it too. In other words, he can have the whole total package at the house. A wholesome wife that's cooking and cleaning, taking care of the children, beautiful from the head down. But he's never satisfied. Even with all that at home, he likes to roam the city streets looking for a cheap thrill, known as the 304s or the streetwalkers. So let's get into the story. It's the year 1987. Uncle was 25, 26 at the time. Was serving 4 years in the military, but the army to be exact. He was stationed in Germany. Had a little situation to go down over there in Germany, so he had to come back to the States. His home was Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. After being back in the States for a few months, he decided to go north, Chicago, to the west side to be exact, because that's where most of our family was living at the time. They were living on the west side of town in the 80s. Now they all over the town, and some even left the state altogether. But I digress. So he goes to the west side, and we got another uncle who was originally from the South, but moved to Chicago 2 decades earlier, suggested that he go to this particular bar that was in the Austin community at the time. Where he goes to this bar, And the first thing that caught his attention was the waitress. Got this waitress, she got this big, long, kinky fro. Looked like Pam Grier, identical twin sister. All he can visualize when he was looking at this woman up and down behind a bar was the scene of Pam Grier in that movie back in the 70s when she was butt naked, looking like a walking thing of low-fat mocha, ready to get drunk or ate for breakfast the next morning. But he realized she had a long list or a long line of guys ready to talk to her. You know, D-boys, gangbangers, any type of hustler that were living in the West Side at the time. At the time. They was giving her money, you know, basically giving her money to get the peace sleeve in the future. You know, they was paying her. Then later on, if they ran across her, you know, they could get the peace sleeve because they already paid her in advance. Now, I'm not saying she was a 304, but the lifestyle she was living was a 304. So him being a country bumpkin, he realized he couldn't compete with the city boys to get this Pam Grier looking waitress that was standing behind the bar. So his fourth or fifth time going to this bar, he see this beautiful looking yellow bone with hazelnut eyes. As he's staring at her, he thinking to himself like it's like looking at the sun. He couldn't stare for too long. He'll glance and then he would just look off. Then he noticed the next time he looked over at her, they caught eyes or whatever, but she started acting a little shy. He also noticed she was a showstopper. She was getting a lot of attention too. But it wasn't anything like the Pam Grier woman that was standing behind the bar. That's what he really wanted, but he realized she was out of his league because he just a country boy, you know, just moved from the South, looking for work, only did 4 years in the Army. So now he looking for employment because he living in the new city, living with our other uncle. So he approached this woman, which later on in the future became his wife or whatever. She usually don't go out to bars or clubs, but he lucked up. And you know, he met her when one of her sister suggested she went out. Her sister stayed going to this particular bar. So her sister wanted her to come with her, saying there's gonna be all type of good looking guys there, you know, guys with long money that's longer than Beale Street. But his future wife kept insisted that's not my type of party because she was a Christian woman or whatever, you know. She was raised right. Her and her sister had two different fathers. So the sister that advised her to come to the club was a small-time dope dealer in the neighborhood over there in the Austin community on the west side. But anyway, he walks up to her, introduces himself, and the first thing she tells him is, boy, you sure it's country. Because he had this thick Tennessee accent at the time, this Memphis accent. So she said, you're country as hell. And their first date was at the drive-in theaters or whatever the following day when they still had the drive-in theaters. Now, I don't want to make the story too long. I'm going to keep it short. So we going to skip to the good parts. I know this is what y'all been waiting for. Fast forward as times go by. 2 children later, they done got married after 8-9 months being together or whatever. 2 children later or whatever, he secured a decent paying job. I think the job was paying $14, $15 at the time. That's a lot of money in the late 80s. So, plus you gotta remember everything was a whole lot cheaper than it is now. So he secured a job as being a security guard working in a different housing projects in Chicago. He was working in the Robert Taylor homes, Rockwell Gardens on the west side, Stateway Gardens on the south side. Every day they would have him in a different project. But there's just one vice he had, and he had to scratch this one itch every day before he went into work, well, at least 2 to 3 times a week. And y'all know what that is? Well, y'all know what that vice was? Buying 304s or paying for 304s. Now, I asked my uncle back in 06, you had a great wife, you had a whole wife at home. You could have got unlimited peace sleeve. Why did you feel the need to go out and mess with 304s when anytime you wanted it from your wife, she was ready to bust it open for you? His answer was he's addicted to 304s like Willie Lord was addicted to that heroin. I didn't understand it at the time. Me being 20, I'm like, damn, who could be addicted to buying some damn pros, 304s? Who could be addicted to tricking off on a woman and giving your money to a woman just for like a short time or you know, cheap thrill? I was never impressed by it, especially back then. Tricking when it wasn't as popular in the mainstream like how it is now. You got rappers talking about tricking, you got YouTubers and some of these travel vloggers, proud tricks. So back to the story. There was one particular night. He was on the south side of Chicago. I want to say he was riding along Stony Island out there way on the south side. I think to this day, they still got a host stroll out there along Stony Island. And it was his first time on this particular track. Back then we used to call them hoe track. He looking around like, damn, these are like black Hollywood stars. He couldn't believe he was in the heart of the ghetto, But the black women, the ebony looking women he laid eyes on, like they stepped straight up out of a magazine, a hip hop magazine. But you gotta remember, this was the 80s. So women still had their natural hair, natural curves, natural everything. That weave shit didn't start getting popular until like the mid to late 90s. So there was one in particular. Man, this man circled around the block at least 4 times. And he said the 5th time that she's still there, I'ma pick her up. Cause at this time he had like a 1982 Crown Vic, the box looking car. The ones the police used to have back in the day though. So the Ford. So he said, if she's still standing right there next time I circle the block again, I'm gonna pick her up. Take an alleyway and we gonna do something strange for a piece of change. So he picks her up. She had this sweet, smooth, feminine voice or whatever. Smelled good as hell. She stood out from all the other women. The other women was gorgeous, as he stated, but it was just something different about her. She had this innocent look to her. She didn't look like she was even supposed to be over there in that part of the town, which was known at the time and probably still is. It's the Black Peastone neighborhood. So he picks her up. They go in the alleyway. They talk for 5 minutes. Then he ready to get into some action. She jumps over into the back seat. He get out the car. But now he climbs over the back seat too. Now he had his pants down, but he had his legs out of one of the pants. We gonna get into that. I'm all over the place. So as he get into the back, he tries to penetrate her, but he noticed he couldn't penetrate. He was like, the hell wrong with her? I know I'm packing, but I know I'm not that damn big. So she like, you too big. Then after a while, she said, I gotta get out. I need to go use the bathroom. I gotta piss. Him being a country bunkie, no street smart whatsoever, being from the South. He wasn't hip to the game some of the 304s playing, and he learned, on this particular night, he learned quick. So when she got out the car, he still laying in the back seat with the windows cracked. He hears some stilettos hitting the ground fast. He looks out of the back window. She running towards a brown Scooby-Doo looking van. In the 80s, they had these vans with no windows, the ones you used to see on that show called 18. She runs towards one of them vans, one of them type of vans. The headlights come on, he like, oh hell no. He's trying to jump back over to the front seat, but his pants got wrapped around the seat because he had his pants down, but he made the dumb mistake for not taking them all the way down. If you're gonna pull your pants down, take them all the way down, but he had one leg out, so the pants got wrapped around the passenger side of the seat. So they gave the van a head start to get away from him. He was able to jump to the front. Now I'm gonna remind you guys, he's a security guard. So that means he's armed, but at the time, his choice of weapon was a .38 slug nose. Why? I have no idea, especially being in Chicago and working in the Chicago projects. Hell, he should have had a semi-automatic. So he jumps in his Crown Vic and he chasing these guys down the alleyway or whatever. So he realized he wasn't gonna really catch them because they moving, they hitting curves, alleyway, street, alleyway. He don't know the neighborhood that well. He's new to that part of town. So eventually he took his gun out and started shooting at the van. As he shoot, remember he got like a 5 or 6 shooter. As he shoot, he's distracted. Boom! He runs into one of them wooden telegram poles or whatever. He told her this Crown Vic. My uncle, you're a great man, but I gotta say this. What the hell was you thinking to snitch on yourself? He called the police. Police got there, they asked him what happened. Y'all won't believe this guy. Y'all won't believe my uncle told them everything. Luckily, they weren't feeling, he didn't run across the cops. They would have been happy to take his ass to jail for, soliciting a 304 or soliciting a pro. Instead, they actually felt sorry for him. But they didn't feel that sorry for him. They wanted to laugh in his face so bad because when they asked him what happened, he was like, he, picked the woman up on Stony Island, took her to the alleyway. And as he trying to get it in with her, she went in his pockets, took his wallet with his whole paycheck. He just got paid that day, was on a Friday. At the time, I think his check was $800 or $900. She took it all and ran to the van or whatever. So they did a police report. He told them everything that happened. They sitting there smirking a little bit like, this idiot. Then the white Polish police walked up to him, pulled him to the side, told him, sir, I don't know where you from, but remember this, you never supposed to snitch on yourself, whether you guilty or innocent. Our officer told him this. So they told the car where the car was basically told him. Let's just say he didn't go into work that day. He called a taxi cab back to the west side to, back to his home with his wife or whatever. When he got back, she asked him, what the hell you doing home so early? He wanted to pick a fight with her. He started deflecting because he knew he was guilty. But he was gonna have to come out and tell her the truth because the bills needed to be paid. And he just got robbed for his $800 or $900 check. So he went ahead and, opened up to her, told her what's been going on or whatever. She got up, started cussing him out, calling him, you Jimmy Dean ass nigga, you country Tennessee pride ass boy. How I know I ain't got no STD or no STI? You been around here messing with these damn hookers, and that she was just going off, throwing dishes, even almost stabbed him. So she made him get his things, get out of the house. He asked her where is he going to go? Cause our uncle he was living with when he first got to the city was asleep, knocked out. He was an old man, so he already told him, I'm not waking up, opening up no goddamn door. I don't care if the president come by and need a place to stay. If you don't be at my house or on my front porch by 9 p.m., last call for alcohol. It's a no-go, is what my other uncle stated to anybody, not just the uncle that we talking about now. So what ended up happening, he broke, lost all his money. He ended up sleeping on the park bench over there in the Austin community on the west side. When he got back to the house, she told him she would like to separate from him for a while. He begged and pleaded. So she told him, well, I'm going to stay with one of my sisters for 2 days. I need time to think about this. So she went to go stay with one of the sisters. As she got back, she tried to give him another chance. Nope, that didn't work. So one night, months later, they got back together. He still got his security job or whatnot. One day, he goes to work. Instead of going to the south side this time, he rides around the west side, Roosevelt, and then he goes to like the Laurendale or the K-Town area, looking for a 304 for the night. Problem with that was, our auntie, she's well known on the west side. Her family is well known on the west side. Somebody seen him on the host road, so word got around quick. Now, they didn't have cell phones and none of that. This was the 80s. If you wasn't at the house, you only had payphone. Payphones was still a big thing back then. So, long story short, he goes to work. I guess he took care of his business that night. He goes to work, go back home. She's still up, sitting on the couch, waiting on him with one of them wooden field slugger baseball bat. She got up the minute he walked in, started swinging at him, asked him where the hell you was at earlier. He tried to lie and say he went straight to work. Well, she told him that somebody seen him riding around, the K-Town area around one of them host roads. He started looking dumb as hell. Then he broke down and started crying. Told her he got a habit, he got a problem, he need help. He can't stop buying 304s. Now, years went by. She tried to work with this guy, but he just couldn't help himself. So eventually by 93, 94, they got a divorce. She filed for divorce, but he refused to sign the papers. So one day, they no longer living together or whatnot. They living in separate places. She living over on the west side. She living over on what you call that area? He still living in the Austin community because that's where we still had family at. She moved to another neighborhood on the west side, but he became obsessed when he wanted her back. He tried to do everything in his power to get her back. So one day he went to her apartment because she was living in one of them brownstones. He went to her apartment and parked, sat out there for a while. He was about to eventually go in, but she came walking outdoors with another guy. Now she had every right to be with this guy because remember y'all, they separated. He just refused to sign the papers. Now I don't know why he didn't sign the papers because you're addicted to 304s. Hell, luckily she ain't never get no STD. So he gets out and try to confront them. Now my uncle crazy and he's a good fighter. He got them hands. I guess she already told the new guy that our uncle was a little psycho or whatever. So they jumped in the car. My uncle jumped back in his car. He started chasing them. And as he chasing them, Chicago police was sitting right there at one of the stores. Police got behind him, pulled him over, but he went stop. And eventually my auntie and her new guy got away. Pulled my uncle over. Police was like, what was all that about? My uncle couldn't explain, so he ended up going to jail. I think they got him on a misdemeanor charge or whatnot. This man wanted our auntie back so bad, let me tell y'all what he did. At this time, he didn't really have a lot of money. He was struggling at this time, but he bounced back around 97 to 98. Then eventually got his life together and moved to Thailand and started repeating the same mistakes he was doing over here. That's why I tell guys, you can get your passport all you want to, but a lame in the United States is a lame abroad. So he wanted her back so bad, I guess she wasn't with the guy anymore. They spoke. He's supposed to be met her with her later on that day. This fool went to the Walgreens, stole some liquor, because at this time they were selling liquor in the Walgreens in Chicago. But this was in the early 90s at this point. stole some liquor, a cheap watch, and I guess one of them cars you give to a female or whatever. He had no idea the manager was a Puerto Rican guy, was watching him the whole time. As he went to walk towards the door, the manager was like, hey, motherfucker, hey. The Puerto Rican guy started chasing him. Now, my uncle could have just ran, jumped in his car, and drove off. Why he didn't, I don't know why. But instead, he ran. Now, I guess he figured if he run a few blocks, the Puerto Rican guy is going to give up after a while. But the Puerto Rican guy chased his ass until the police got there. The Puerto Rican guy chased my uncle at least 4 or 5 damn blocks. I'm not even playing. So, but as he was chasing my uncle turned down his alleyway running. So he figured, well, shit, I can throw everything I stole from the Walgreens over one of these gates and come back and get it later. Little did he know, one of the gates had a wooden fence, so he couldn't see the backyard. They had the backyard paved. So he threw the liquor over there first. Boom, it splattered. He was like, what the hell? And the Puerto Rican guy still chasing him. Eventually, the police pulled up on both of them. Uncle went to jail. So eventually, my auntie moved on, married another guy, you know, from the north side of whatever. He was living over there, not that far from the northwest suburbs. She moved on. My uncle, he never did recover from that. So, like they all do, he blamed American women. You know, women can't be trusted. But I used to be confused. I used to think like, but man, you was creeping out on her the whole time with, you know, bust down 304s. How can you blame her? I mean, you had already told me she was giving you unlimited peace leave. So what was the point? What was the point of, you know, spending y'all money that you work hard for, jeopardizing your life and your health to go mess with 304s, is how I'm thinking. So then around the mid to late 2000s, he moves to Thailand or whatever. Living in Thailand, and I told y'all this story before. Gets to Thailand, and what do y'all think happened over there? He started going to a lot of these bars, falling in love with the first thing he laid eyes on. Straight up 304s working at these bars. But we won't get into that now. That's another story. That'll be the end of this story. But make sure y'all like and subscribe. Share this video. Leave your comments down below. And until next time, I'm out. 1. Oh, and P.S. The moral of the story is, the reason my uncle moved to Thailand is because he's just addicted to 304s. If it ain't a 304, a pro, whatever you want to call it, selling peace leave, it really don't turn my uncle on. He don't really like a good woman. He just gotta have that 304. Whether it be a stripper, escort, if she ain't about that life, then he don't want nothing to do with it. But I'm out, y'all. Make sure y'all like the video. 1.